Oh, wow. I gotta tell you guys, today is not my day. So, I just spent the last hour and a half preparing a bunch of stuff in this program. And then I went up to make a cup of coffee. Came back down, and the program was off. So, I just restarted it. And I even saved all my settings, my preset. That's why this video is playing right now, or it's nowadays. Oh boy. So, it doesn't matter though, because it's not going to stop me from talking about what I really need to talk about. Hold on just a minute here. Hello, clouds behind the sun. I think, let's see, check out my website. Yeah, it's showing up there. For me anyway, it is. So, should be good, because you got the wrench, so your link should show up there. Hi, Davey313 and Lori Tillman and Flat Earth Coffee House. So it looks like the poll that I put out earlier, it looks like it's going to be Effed Up World. But that, I just had I had to say I like the channel name. Not that it's necessarily good for like whatever, but like a couple people in the comments said on that poll, that's what the channel is or whatever, and I agree. Let me do something here. Wow, I can't believe I lost all that stuff, you guys. But I didn't lose the tabs that I had open. But I had videos in there that not necessarily that I was going to play, but just that I was going to have playing in the background. They're nature ones like this. Time lapses and whatnot. So I'm actually, as I'm talking here, I'm going to get a couple more of those going. Because just so you guys have something to watch right now. Man, I can't believe I did that. Plus, I'm going to do this too. I'm going to... Oh, and I can't remember which video. I'll show you how I was going to... how I was going to start the stream. So I had this up here, which you can see, but you can see through it, right? So I had that there, and then I'm going to go find the video that I had. I can't believe this. Sorry to be so disorganized, but I just... wow. I guess that's just something I shouldn't do, because it's done that to me before, so it's my own fault for not realizing that it was going to happen. I even had audio going in the back, like music going in the background and everything. I couldn't believe it. And then I went to get coffee right before I started, and because I have a cup of hot coffee here, sitting here ready to drink. But I have to go to a folder I have called Earth Stuff. And I was going to show you, which one was it? I have several videos that I grabbed. Oh, my heart sunk when I got down here. I was like, no. And I was like, should I tell him I'm going to start in an hour? And I'm like, no way. It'll just happen again. So here we are. Where is that? Give me a moment. Storm clouds, or where was it? Oh, it was this one right here. Okay. So this is how I was going to start out the video. There we go. That's what I was going to do at the beginning. But it was going to be playing music too. Anyway, so I want to get to it though. I titled this, I'm going live to warn you about the firmament and the waters above. Because I'm going to... I understand what the firmament is. And it's not what a lot of people think it is. And it's not that I understand it because of me, or that I have some secret, or anything like that. I have scriptures here open that might give you a different idea of what the firmament actually is, and how it's made, and how it is upheld, or what the pillars of it are. And people have, like, even I understood this differently before. Just like for the first few years of flat Earth, I understood this differently. I thought the foundations of the earth were like pillars, or were like, big foundations. I don't know what that would look like, but I thought they were something like solid, holding the earth up. Nope, it's not. And it's not what I thought either. Or I mean, it's not what you expect either. Let me okay, that's where I was gonna start. I gotta show you what do they call it, a GIF file. Sorry guys, I can't believe that all this stuff got taken and thrown in the trash. That was a mess. Yep, I gotta grab that one again too. Everything I did I have to redo, but I gotta show you this stuff. Okay, you guys know what a shockwave is. I mean, actually, kind of conveniently, we all watched a shockwave in Beirut. In all those videos that you saw of that explosion, it takes a little bit of time for the shockwave to reach the camera, depending on how far the camera is away from the explosion, right? I think everybody understands that. I'm going to open this and show you a little something. You guys probably recognize this. This is an Atlas V. Does it look like there's a layer of something that it's punching through? Just tell me. I mean, does it? Of course it does. But that's just a shockwave. That's what science would call it, or our world would call it. We're just a shockwave, which is when something reaches the speed of sound in air, especially air in the upper atmosphere. It creates a wave, and that wave travels in every direction away from, and that's when we get away from the rocket or whatever, the jet or whatever's moving that fast, a bullet or whatever, and then that's when we get a sonic boom, especially when something's up in the sky, like a jet. When you see the videos of jets flying by, I'm going to remove that for now. You see the videos of jets flying by at the speed of sound, and they have that vapor kind of cone wrapped around them there. What's happening there? Like, not that we need to understand the science of it. Forget the science of it, because the science of it is just men's interpretation throughout time. Like, our world has men in it, and we like to know things that we like to know how things work, or the science behind things. But the problem with that is that understanding is wrong, because the way that these things are. So what was that rocket doing in that picture? It was going up into the sky, and people say, no, rockets are fake or whatever. Yeah, okay, forget about it. I'm not talking about whether it's fake or real. I'm just talking about that was an Atlas V rocket that people watched fly up into the sky. I don't care where it's going. That's not where I'm talking about right now. But it flew up into the sky, and when it reached the speed of sound, there was a shock wave, and you could see it visually with your eyes. And it almost looked like, say, if you threw a stone or a oops, wrong button. If you threw a stone in the middle of a calm lake, it would ripple out. The water would ripple out just like that. It behaves the same way as the atmosphere does. So I'm gonna do this. Oh, I can't believe that. Sorry guys, I shouldn't keep talking about that I'm disappointed in my program. Let me show you some clouds here. This is just some footage I got with the GoPro in my backyard, actually. I think it was last year. Hi guys, I gotta say hi to you guys in the chat, because I've seen a bunch of people in here. Alright. Venus Cupcake, how you doing? And Randy, Patriots Super Majority Now. Yeah, you caught me at the beginning. Good deal. T Black, welcome. Good to see you again. And Davey313 and Lori, and who else was it I said hi to at the beginning? Clouds, how you doing? Good to have you guys here. So let me I'm not gonna do a screen share, because I think that keeps me from making my point a lot of the time, because I'm trying to like get everything on the screen just right and everything. I just want to talk to you guys and read you some stuff and kind of concentrate on what I'm actually saying and what we're talking about, because it's very important. Okay, one thing is, where is this? Isaiah. Okay, Isaiah 24. Let's see, maybe I should go a little bit further back in Isaiah 24, because I want to read you something that the nature of the sky. Okay, obviously on your screen right now there's clouds, and there's a blue sky like around those clouds during the day. But at night it turns into darkness, and all there is the moon or the stars when the sun's too far away to make the clouds light up and whatever. So let's see, which verses were we at? Okay, here we go. Let me just read something in Isaiah 24, starting in verse 16. From the uttermost part of the earth we have heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness. You know what? I'm going to pause here. I don't know what leanness means. Search Google for leanness. That's Leanness. Okay, that's what I thought it meant. The property of having little body fat, spareness, thinness. Okay. So it's usually it's used, I guess. Okay. So I don't understand what it means here. So anyway, woe unto me, the treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Yea, the treacherous dealers have dealt very treacherously. Fear and the pit and the snare are upon thee, O inhabitant of the earth. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. Let me read that last sentence again. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. The earth is utterly broken down, the earth is clean dissolved, the earth is moved exceedingly. The earth shall reel to and fro like a drunkard, and shall be removed like a cottage, and the transgression thereof shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the hosts of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days shall they be visited. Then the moon shall be confounded, and the sun ashamed, when the Lord of hosts shall reign in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his ancients gloriously. So I know you might not understand quite what that's talking about, and I'm not saying I do. I mean, it's obviously talking about the day of the Lord in parts of it. But something I want people to understand is that, okay, in this world we call it the atmosphere, the place where the air is, right? And above the atmosphere would be space, the place where there's no air. And I'm not trying to get into whether it's fake or real. That's not the topic that I'm talking about. I'm talking about simply our understanding of what the air is. What the air is. And so I'm going to read the book of Enoch, which I didn't open. Wow. Chapter 18, because this is very important, I believe. Even if you think the book of Enoch is not inspired, okay? So don't turn your ears off just because it says the book of Enoch. Just hear the words that he says. It doesn't have to be inspired to mean something here, okay? Let's go to this. Okay, we're going to Wikisource, and we're reading, I think this is the R.H. Charles version. I'm just going to read a few verses here, and then just try to listen very carefully for the winds. It's going to be talking about all the winds, and it's going to tell us what they do, where they are, and why they're so important. Okay? I saw the treasuries of all the winds. I saw how he had furnished them. I screwed that up. I saw how he had furnished with them the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. And I saw the cornerstone of the earth. I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. And I saw how the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven, and have their station between heaven and earth. These are the pillars of the heaven. I saw the winds of heaven which turn and bring the circumference of the sun and all the stars to their setting. I saw the winds on the earth carrying the clouds. I saw the path of the angels. I saw at the end of the earth the firmament of the heaven above. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out that he said there. He's just telling us what he saw, okay? And a couple details about it. He said God furnished with the winds the whole creation and the firm foundations of the earth. So I'm not trying to say I understand this fully or something. I don't have any secret that I know. I'm gathering something very important here, and I want you to understand the thing that I'm pointing out here. The foundations of the earth are the four winds, or all the winds, I should say. It says all the winds, okay? And then it says, I saw the four winds which bear the earth and the firmament of the heaven. We all know what it means to bear something, right? Usually it's like to carry it or to support it or to, I guess that's probably the best words I can think of. Yes, I'm definitely glad all you guys are here. Thank you, Davey313. For sure. Whoops. Let's see here. Okay. Thank you, Davey313. I like that. Okay, after a while I will try to pay attention. Hey, Lady K. So, I don't know how, but the air, the winds, the four winds, these come into anyone that is interested in biblical cosmology or eschatology. That means like the study of prophecy. And this is something that I don't see anybody talking about. Anybody. It's the four winds. And there's also something else. When they launch a rocket, have you guys ever heard of them say they're going to try to launch the rocket, and they have T-minus 30 minutes or something, right? And if they don't launch, like if something goes wrong and they don't launch in that 30 minutes, usually there's a limited amount of time, and what happens? There is a launch window, and they only have a certain specific amount of time that they can launch. Otherwise, they have to schedule it when the next launch window is open. And that includes a lot of different things that create that launch window. But just the word launch window becomes very important here, actually. Let me read you some things about windows. If I can find my... It's the wrong page. I'm just trying to find my page here. Windows, okay. Well, we're going to go back to the book of Enoch first, and then we're going to go to the Bible. Sorry, I got a lot of tabs open if you can't tell. Okay, let me just read something from the book of Enoch. It's part of the book of the courses of the luminaries, or whatever it is. I think that's what it's called. When he was taken and shown how the sun and moon and stars work. He was shown what happens there. Okay, and this is chapter 75, verse 4 I'm going to start reading in. Or wait. Verse 3. For the signs and times and the years and days the angel Uriel showed to me, whom the Lord of glory hath set forever over all the luminaries of heaven, in the heaven and in the world, that they should rule on the face of the heaven, and be seen on the earth, and be leaders for the day and the night, i.e. the sun, moon, and stars, and all the ministering creatures which make their revolution in all the chariots of the heaven. In like manner, 12 doors, Uriel showed me, open in the circumference of the sun's chariot in the heaven, through which the rays of the sun break forth. Let me just slow down a little bit. Please listen carefully to what this says, guys. Okay, let me go back a little bit. That they should rule on the face of the heaven and be seen on the earth, and be leaders for the day and the night, i.e. the sun, moon, and stars, and all the ministering creatures which make their revolution in all the chariots of the heaven. In like manner, 12 doors Uriel showed me, open in the circumference of the sun's chariot in the heaven, through which the rays of the sun break forth, and from them is warmth diffused over the earth, when they are opened at their appointed seasons. And for the winds and the spirit of the dew, when they are opened, standing open in the heavens at the ends. As for the 12 portals in the heaven, at the ends of the earth, out of which go forth the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven in the east and in the west. There are many windows open to the left and right of them. And one window at its appointed season produces warmth, corresponding as these do to those doors from which the stars come forth, according as he has commanded them, and wherein they set corresponding to their number. And I saw chariots in the heaven, running in the world, above those portals in which revolve the stars that never set. And one is larger than all the rest, and it is that makes its course through the entire world. So that was Enoch chapter 75. I don't know which verses, 4 or 3 through 7, or 3 through 8, 9. Sorry. So windows. Let me grab another video, since I think this is probably replaying by now. Sorry, this was going to be a little more organized, but I just let's just watch this one. I think we're going to see something right here. Should be, yeah, see on your screen right there. That's footage that I took of the space station. See how it's scarlet colored? But anyway, so eschatology is like the study of prophecy or end times, and I kind of loathe the word. Like, I don't like that word, and there's several reasons why. Because everybody that says that word seems to be a false teacher to me. When I see what they're saying, they are talking gibberish. And of course, people say I talk gibberish when I talk about dragon. You know, I wouldn't have any reason to talk about dragon if John didn't write about it. And I wouldn't have any reason to talk about the 4 winds of heaven if Enoch didn't write about it, right? Why would I be talking about it? I have no knowledge in any of these things. So I have another one that I thought I had open but didn't. So I just got to read something. Okay, we were just reading about the winds, the 4 winds, and then there was how the sun and moon and stars, they ride on chariots of heaven. Well, Enoch wrote that before he wrote about some different chariots that he saw in heaven. And actually, I think this version, let me see, this version says, it's not the right version. I went to the wrong page. Okay, I guess it's the same exact version. It's R.H. Charles. Okay, and he calls them wagons here. But listen what it says in chapter 57 of the book of Enoch. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. Okay, before I read the next verse, I just want to point out that, yes, that did just say that Enoch saw men flying in the sky. Men on wagons, okay? Other versions say chariots. He saw another host of chariots with men riding on them, okay? And they were coming on the winds. The winds. The winds, the winds, the winds. Okay. What does that mean? Well, it just means he saw men flying in some kind of wagons or some kind of something or other. Vehicle, I'm going to say. Because here's why. I'll read the next verse. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask here. The holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place, and the sound thereof was heard from one end of heaven to the other in one day. So what do you guys think so far? What kind of wagons do have men made that, and they ride on them, that are very loud, that make noise that you can hear from one end of heaven to the other? Let's see if I can play a rocket experience here. Oh, I gotta turn the volume on. You know how the the speed of sound is only so fast. They're like 5 miles or 8 miles, 8 miles away from the rocket launch. So there's no sound yet. But listen to when the sound does come, which should be any minute. I'm turning my volume up too. Go ahead and turn yours up if you want. There's only one kind of wagon or chariot that makes a rumbling so loud it shakes your chest. And oops, am I bumping my... I'm hearing a... Okay, here we go. And it came to pass after this that I saw another host of wagons, and men riding thereon, and coming on the winds from the east and from the west to the south. And the noise of their wagons was heard. And when this turmoil took place, the holy ones from heaven remarked it, and the pillars of the earth were moved from their place. Remember, the foundations of the earth are the four winds, or it said all the winds. Think about it. Now, people like to tell me that I'm a heretic and that I'm a crazy person and that I'm wrong and I'm in error, and they like to say a lot of these things, but they're not here listening to what I'm telling you right now and showing you, are they? I didn't write that. I didn't see any of these things. That was Enoch that did. Hi, Anthony. Good to see you, bro. Okay, so let me just pause this. Let's go back to, or let me grab a new video. I have a new video that, actually, yeah, I forgot. I made this one not too long ago, and I don't even think I ever uploaded it. Oops. That was a little loud. I guess I'll leave the music going. So, see the stars? Remember we were reading about that too? They're all, what did it say? Carried on the chariots? I'll go back there and look at that. It said, as for the 12 portals in the heaven, at the ends of the earth, out of which go forth the sun, moon, and stars, and all the works of heaven in the east and in the west. There are many windows open to the left and right of them. Remember, so what would a window of heaven look like? Maybe you can't see it, maybe you can. Let's read about windows of heaven a little bit. Oops, trying to get to my page. Sorry, guys. If you have coffee, take a drink, because that's what I'm going to do. You guys have heard of Noah and the flood. In the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month, the same day were all the fountains of the great deep broken up, and the windows of heaven were opened. That's Genesis 7, verse 11. 8 verse 2 says, the fountains also of the deep and the windows of heaven were stopped, and the rain from heaven was restrained. That was after the flood. So what caused the flood? Well, the great deep was broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and all the water poured in. Right? And then it stopped. Okay, let me read a couple more. I just did a word search, so I'm looking through. Okay, here we go. That was what I was reading in Isaiah 24, verse 18. And it shall come to pass that he who fleeth from the noise of the fear shall fall into the pit, and he that cometh up out of the midst of the pit shall be taken in the snare. For the windows from on high are open, and the foundations of the earth do shake. It wasn't Ezekiel, it was, let's see here. Oh yeah. Joel 2 verse 9, and I know it's talking about something different. But it just consider what I'm talking about, and let me read this. They shall run to and fro in the city. They shall run upon the wall. They shall climb up upon the houses. They shall enter in at the windows like a thief. Let's see here. Okay. Windows of heaven, guys. There's Saturn with my iPhone 6S. This is just some video I took, I don't know, I named it April of 2020, so must have been April of 2020, and before that, obviously, there was some snow in that picture. There's the ISS again. So what is the ISS? I know a lot of people think it's fake, but what's, okay, forget I called it the ISS. What's the 8th wandering star that's up in our sky? It flies over your house a lot. Maybe you've seen it before, maybe not. It looks like a star going over. When you zoom in on it, this is what it looks like. Let me get this out of here. That's what it looks like when you zoom in on it. Do you guys know that John saw that? Saw the ISS? Yeah, Anthony, I don't know exactly what you mean by a plane ticket. Like, I can't just leave here. But I'm praying for you, brother. Because I know you're going through a serious time right now. Davey313 said it just right. I'm starting to pray right now for you and the Holy Spirit of Jesus Christ to protect you. Sorry about that, guys. I just, Anthony's a good buddy of mine, and I don't know exactly what he's going through, but I know it's, trying, or it's a big deal. So, put your prayers out for Anthony and his situation, if you can. So, that was Enoch 75 where we read about that. Let me let's see, here's another thing. Oops, let me turn this down a little bit. Sorry. I'll just leave it off. Okay. So, I don't even know how to say it. Do I know everything about the heavens and the earth? Nope. Does anybody? Enoch does. But let's say you don't like Enoch. Really? Anybody alive know about all of it? No. Lots of people say the firmament is solid. It's like glass. It's like hard. And as much as that sounds cool, that's what I used to think. And I kind of do think in a way. But there's windows, guys. So even if it's hard if it's a molten looking glass, okay? I think he says strong like a molten looking glass because of what we were just reading about the four winds. Of course it's strong. It holds up the entire heavens and the earth. It's the foundations of the earth. So, really, is it really that hard to believe what you see in these prophets? Like, I know we're talking about Enoch a lot, and I know a lot of people don't like Enoch, but maybe you need to examine why. Maybe you need to ask yourself, why don't you like the book of Enoch? Oh, there's so many contradictions and so many... You sure about that? I don't think you've read it if you said that. Or you don't understand what your Bible says. I've never found a contradiction. I find more contradictions in the teachings that people do and the things that people say about these subjects than anywhere. You know? When men talk about things, they like to inject their I guess their own insight or their own ideas. I think we all do. But when we're talking about something serious like I'm gonna go do a word search really quick for darkness. Okay, we need to talk about darkness, you guys. Because the four winds, remember how Enoch said it was, hey, Beck from Oz, good to see you. And Damsel Medic. I'm just catching the bottom of the screen there, and I saw you guys' names there. Remember Enoch? Oh, where was I going? Where was I? I totally lost my train of thought for a second. Sorry, I'm doing way too much multitasking. Let me see if this is a cool video. I don't even know what this is. Oh yeah, I remember what it is now. Something I did out of CGI. So what is oh, that's what I was going to show you. I wanted to show you the rocket penetrating what appears to be the waters above. Did I already pick that? I already did, but I'll just grab it again. Sorry guys. There we go. Let's watch this. Whoops. I gotta make it bigger. Oops. I was trying to make it bigger, right? There we go. Okay. This is, I already explained this. It's an Atlas V rocket. All this is it's a rocket engine. You guys know how a rocket engine works? Let me just show you a picture and you'll be able to understand it. It's very simple. You burn fuel. like this. It's a science. It's something we can repeatedly do with precision. And it creates supersonic. Actually, let me grab another image to show you the supersonic, what it, I can grab a few images to show you guys what I'm talking about. Okay, you'll understand a jet if I show you this picture of a jet in like a wind tunnel, or it's not a real jet. Maybe it is, I don't know. But those are the shock waves when something's moving through the air. It's like a boat moving through the water. There's waves. When the boat is moving, it creates pressure on from water right next to the boat. Wants to push out, right? That's easy to understand. It just wants to push out. And so the same thing with the air. Let's see here. So that's kind of like a weird image, but let me grab one more image just to show you how what's happening on the backside of a rocket engine. I don't think this is an actual image, but this is okay. On the left there is like the nozzle or the bell or whatever, like what we see on a rocket engine, and those are kind of the directions that the well, air, if you can call it air, thrust goes. And then it's like a pattern that repeats, and it's a powerful thing. Let's see here. So what happens in the four winds is important, right? I gotta switch back to a different video. That's an awful one. I'm gonna grab a new video. Sorry guys, I just don't want you to be like totally bored. And another thing is there is a, oh, you know what, I just made a video today of a lightning storm yesterday. Last night there's a lightning storm here, kind of, and I put my drone up in the air. So let's watch that. I forgot about that. There we go. Yeah, this was last night, and it was really cool, because it was like lightning everywhere. It just kept going, and thunder, boom, boom, boom. So we'll watch that in the background. I just want people to understand that these clouds, they're not being held up there because of gravity and whatever. These clouds are being held up there by the four winds. And they take their station between heaven and earth, right? Like, hello, Deja Vu all day in China, Mrs. Jones. Good to see you guys. Or gals. I don't mean to say it like that, but yeah, good to see you. And Bait Morgan. Yes, I did record this with my DJI Mavic Pro. The quality's not the best because I had to convert it with my movie maker, so it's not like 2160 like it should be, but so as we watch this, we can learn about lightning in the book of Enoch. We can learn about, oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna search darkness. Why am I always talking about darkness, guys? I'll tell you why. I'll be honest and I'll tell you why. I'm always talking about darkness because nobody else understands what darkness is. And I don't mean nobody. And I don't mean I understand it. I'm only saying that nobody talks about it. Nobody does. And it's the darkness, and I mean literal darkness, is one of the first things in our Bible. One of the first things. In Genesis 1 verse 2, it says, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the waters," or of the deep, I'm sorry. "And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." So there's another verse. I'm going to look it up really quick. It's in Psalm 18. And it talks about darkness, and it talks about what it is a little bit, and it says where God is, and that agrees with this verse we just read. So we'll compare them. I'll read this one and then I will read that one again. So keep the two words or the subjects of darkness and water fresh in your mind here, and then where God is too, because it's very important. So I'm going to read Psalm 18 verse 11. It says, he made darkness his secret place. It's talking about God. Okay, he made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. So, do we know what that means? He made darkness his secret place. Dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. Okay? In the 2 verses before that, it said, he bowed the heavens also and came down, and darkness was under his feet. Verse 10, and he rode upon a cherub and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. So God's up there, guys. Right? And I don't care if NASA says it's a vacuum. Whatever NASA says is probably what they think. Who cares? They call it dark matter. And the Bible calls it dark waters or darkness upon the face of the deep. So remember when we were reading about Noah and his flood and the windows of heaven being opened? Let me see if I still have that open. I closed it. Well, let's go to Genesis and read about the firmament. So there's these dark waters, and so Psalm 18, it said he bowed the heavens and came down, and darkness was under his feet. That's what it says in Genesis 1 verse 2, isn't it? And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. So the deep was above God or below God? It was below God. Beneath his feet. Darkness beneath God's feet. And it's his secret place. Okay, there's more about darkness though, because God changed some things as soon as we learned about the darkness upon the face of the deep. Genesis 1 verse 4 says, and God saw the light that it was good, because God created. I better read the verse before that. Sorry. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. So there was this darkness, and God created this light. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. And to this day, we still call the darkness night, and the light day. That's just what we call it on the earth. So when we look up in the sky, or actually I got to go back to where we were in Genesis. Okay. So he divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. Okay. The firmament. I should have opened this differently. Sorry. My computer's a little slow, but the firmament is the next thing God made after he divided the day and the night and all that, or from the night. Wow, my computer's slow. I think it says something like, and God said, where was it? And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Yeah, that's what it was. Okay, let me find that. It's verse 5. Or 6, sorry. And God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. The firmament, guys, he divided the water with the firmament, and in the midst of the waters, that means the middle of the waters. So I'm just going to say I'm picturing like a bubble in water. The firmament is the atmosphere. It's the air. That's Enoch called it the winds, or the winds stretch out the vaults of heaven. So let's read a little bit more about the firmament, though. Verse 8. And God called the firmament heaven. So that was on the second day that he did that. And I'm going to just keep reading because it's really good. And yeah, we're kind of talking about creation, but it's something that I think a lot of people should at least consider a little bit seriously because of what's coming and what's happening. Now, there's a guy on YouTube, a pastor. I don't know if he's a pastor or whatever, but his name's Doug Hamp. And I've always liked listening to that guy because he has a very interesting insight on these things. And what was his sermon today? I went there and I was like, no way, this guy's talking about this. And I think he still thinks that Earth is a globe, but that's beside the point, really. But he said, because he knows his Bible very good, and he said, I think the title was Satan Attacking New Jerusalem. Just think, I'll come back to that, okay? I'll come back to that. Because I want to talk about the lights that God put in the firmament. And that's in verse 14. It says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven. Yes, that said in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good, and the evening and the morning were the fourth day. So, the sun, moon, and stars are in the firmament of the heaven, and that's besides the light that he created 3 days before that, everything is darkness. There's dark waters everywhere, except for where the firmament of heaven is, and obviously the earth beneath it. Actually, there back it said, verse 10 said, and God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. So the waters under the heaven, or under the firmament, he gathered together into one place, and then the dry land appeared. Okay? So there's waters that are under the firmament, and I'm going to just go ahead and call those earth waters, because I've never read that or anything, but I'm doing that because the other waters are heaven waters, or the waters that are above the firmament. That's where God is. It said the darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved over the face of the waters. So God's above the deep, and the deep is darkness. And the deep, that word actually means abyss. So there's a dark abyss. And what else is there? All there is besides that is where he gathered together the dry land, and then the waters that are under the firmament, and the four winds. That's the creation. It's so simple, but it's complicated because people think that the abyss must be beneath the earth. because it's bottomless, right? Well, the abyss is in the firmament of heaven, at least in 2020. And then people say, no, it's not. And I'll say, where's darkness? And then they're going to want to change the subject to darkness is like evil. That just means like evil when it says it there. I'm like, no, it's literal. There's something that's like go in a closet, turn off the light, and that's literal darkness. It's not evil. You can go in your closet and it's not evil, but it's dark, right? So of course there is, if we said, you know, this is a dark subject, yeah, that could mean like a bad or evil or whatever. But that's not the way that this is being used. This is being used in the story of creation. And people aren't understanding that. A lot of people. I mean, I'm talking about people you know that I know that I try to talk to these things about, and they just disagree. Well, I'm just concerned that I just want you guys to understand that the creation that God made, first of all, it's not a globe. Now, if you think the one you live on is a globe, that's up to you. But the one in the Bible is clearly not a globe. It has water beneath it and above it. There is no around it. I mean, it's a circle, but it's not a sphere at all. There's an up and a down for everyone, and it's the same because the heavens are layered and they're above the earth. They're not around the earth, they're above the earth. And yes, China Mrs. Jones, thank you, says it's also important to understand that we are stationary. And that was my next when we're talking about the windows of heaven and launch windows, just think about it. If they don't have their rocket launch timed perfectly, and I'm not saying that I know how they do this, to them it's just like science, you know, that's how you got to do it that way or you can't get out, right? So they have their science explanation, their technical explanation of how they escape Earth's gravity. But let's just talk about simple, general senses that, or perceptions that we have, I should say. If we look around, the ground beneath your feet is not moving unless there's an earthquake. And you live your whole life on that ground. So to you, relative to you, the earth is stationary. There's no argument for that, even if you think you're on a spinning globe that's in outer space or whatever. Relative to you, the earth is stationary your whole life. It never moves unless there's an earthquake. Okay? It doesn't rotate on an axis as far as you can tell. From the ground, right? See, the world has become confused and somehow argue with the idea that it's stationary. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Well, it's because they've been tricked and deceived. And for us, it's been our whole lives, you know? We were born with, planets going over our mobile, like, or whatever they're called. I don't know all the kids' words, but those things they put, like, over a crib or whatever. And there's, a lot of times there's planets. And it's funny because that is one of the most wicked things you can do to a child, to teach them about these planets. Because if we really want to know what the planets are, we can go to Enoch chapter 18, the same place we were reading about the four winds. It's actually a very short chapter. Enoch, right after that, he went and saw a flaming fire, and he saw some mountains and a region of the end of the great earth, where the heavens were completed. I'll just start reading in verse 11. And I saw a deep abyss with columns of heavenly fire, and among them I saw columns of fire fall, which were beyond measure, alike towards the height and towards the depth. And beyond that abyss, I saw a place which had no firmament of the heaven above, and no firmly founded earth beneath it. There was no water upon it, no birds, but it was a waste and horrible place. Sounds like space to me, guys. Oh, it is. You know why? The next verse says this. I saw there 7 stars, like great burning mountains. And to me, when I inquired regarding them, the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And the stars which roll over the fire are they which have transgressed the commandment of the Lord in the beginning of their rising, because they did not come forth at their appointed times. And he was wroth with them and bound them till the time when their guilt should be consummated, even for 10,000 years. Let me give you an example, guys. That was the 11 through 16 in chapter 18 of the first book of Enoch. Let me give you an example of the commandment of the Lord given to these luminaries. Where did I find that? I think it was in chapter 73 or 74. Oh, 75 there. I think it was 74. Yes. Okay. 74 verse 1 in the book of Enoch. And I saw another course. He's talking about the moon. I should have prefaced it. And I saw another course, a law for her, and how according to that law she performs her monthly revolution. And all these Uriel, the holy angel, who is the leader of them all, showed me, and their positions, and I wrote down their positions as he showed them to me. And I wrote down their months as they were, and the appearance of their lights till 15 days were okay, he gets very specific, and I'm not saying I understand it all. But the moon, it has a law for, God gave a law for the moon, right? So think about when Daniel was saying that this, whatever the Antichrist, I don't know, he's called the mouth that speaks great things, and he's called many things in the Bible. But Daniel said he would think to change times and laws. Just think about that. He will think to change times and laws. I don't think it's talking about laws on the earth that men make, okay? He's not trying to change those times and laws. He's trying to change God's times and laws. I can't let you join it, Anthony. I got to do it on a different program to do that. I have to use StreamYard or whatever. So, otherwise, I would have you join for sure. And we didn't really talk during the week, but we should do a live sometime soon. But think to change times and laws. So I was just hearing another YouTube channel that does a weekly live stream on Fridays, and he was saying had the idea that this changing of times and laws would be like I don't even, it sounds comical, but like a Sunday law or like Noahide laws or this kind of thing. Come on, guys. You know how he's this same guy, Paul called him the son of perdition, or the man of sin, or the man of lawlessness. And he said that he would stand in the temple of God, showing himself he's God. Now, I know there's a whole bunch of people in the chat right now that want to say, oh, we're the temple of God. And as much as I know what you're talking about, I think it's in 1 Corinthians or whatever, we are the temple of the Holy Spirit. No, John Ciodity, I don't got you blocked, bro. Not at all. Unless I'm the only one seeing your comment. Do you guys see John Ciodity too in the chat? I think you do. Yeah, Davey313 just welcomed you, bro. You're not blocked. So to stand in the temple of God, showing himself that he's God. There is someone doing that in this world. Now, the temple of God, We're the temple of the Holy Spirit, right? That's what Paul said too. He said, don't you know that you're the temple of, or you're the, I think he said temple, or he might have even said tabernacle. I don't remember. So that's true. The Holy Spirit comes and dwells in us. Very true. But where's the temple of God? Location-wise? This is a simple answer, guys. There's hundreds of Bible verses that back up what I'm going to say right now. It's in heaven. It's above the circle of the earth. Thank you, Lady K. It's above the circle of the earth where God is, where God's throne is. Okay? So when a man's going to, or whoever, the son of perdition or whoever, is going to stand in the temple of God, what is he going to do? Is he just going to be in your mind because you're the temple of God? No. Remember, he's going to think to change times and laws. He's going to lift up a shout against God, not against us. He's going to deceive us. But he's going to, well, let me go to Revelation really quick and just read something out of Revelation 13 that says what he's going to do. He's going to blaspheme God, okay? Not us. And this is so important because, and this is another thing, you guys, that I'll get back to that Doug Hamp sermon about Satan attacking New Jerusalem because it's happening already. And actually, there's no way you can deny it. He's going to be in space. Lady K, I like what you're saying. He's going to be in space. 100% what I'm thinking. He's going to be in space. In the darkness. God's secret place. That's where New Jerusalem is, guys. So who's in space? And I don't mean like faking space either. I don't mean that at all. I'm saying, who's going up to that darkness? Let me get a different thing on the screen here. Like, who's, yeah, Muskie Boy. I like that. Lady K, I gotta make you a moderator because I just really like what you're saying there. So, but really, guys, let me play a... Oh, by the way, I'm going to be done with this stream so we can all watch Now You See TV Midnight Ride. Is that tonight? That should be tonight. I hope you guys all watch that because it's the bomb. And actually, those guys, they might not see things the same way as me or whatever, but those guys are some of the best reps that you could listen to as far as how to live your life and how... who the boss is. David Carrico is a great guy to listen to. He knows who the boss is. John Ciotti. Oh, you were joking then, John Ciotti. Okay, he says, no, my comments are not showing on John Ciotti. Oh, maybe John Ciotti's blocked then. Actually, I think, you know, you used to have a wrench here even, John. But you've said some very inappropriate things, so that I'm guessing that's probably why it's blocked. I can unblock you. I'm just not going to do it right now. This video here, speaking of Now You See TV, tell me if this is their intro song, okay, to Midnight Ride. You'll hear this song tonight in 50 minutes on their channel. And actually, if someone can go to their live and put a link into the chat, that would be helpful. But check this out.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast. Rise up, rise up, rise up, rise up. Who is able to make war with him?
Gotta love some Now You See TV, guys. That's a good channel. You gotta go over there and subscribe. I think that I have what you could call been shown a mystery. And you know, I hate the P word. I hate the P word. People think that that's a word of like self gratification, and it's not. The P word is actually kind of a curse, just so you know. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, the word prophet or the word, yeah, that's the word I'm talking about. That word is not a good word for the person avoiding saying it. Because anytime that word comes up, people want to say, oh, you think you're that. And what if I just said, no, I'm trying to share something with you that you're not seeing and you could see and understand, but it's passing right over your comprehension. You know, when Jesus said they have blinded their eyes and hardened their hearts, there's something, like I can use Now You See TV, like John Pounders and John Carrico, or David Carrico, sorry. Those guys don't see these things the same way I do. They do, some of them though. Like some of the stuff they tell me is like just awesome to hear, or some of the things they say. When they're talking about some of these subjects, they have a lot of knowledge, and they do have a lot of it right. But then they're going to talk about the Kabbalah and all these other worldly, like worldly evils that, in the end, have no effect on how men are defiled. Mankind, I mean. We're defiled because of, well, actually, let's go back to the book of Enoch. Remember, I was in chapter 18, and he saw that abyss, and he saw those 7 stars that didn't obey God. Remember, there's laws. Come on, John C. Oddity. There's laws that God gave to every star and every luminary. They're supposed to do a specific thing. Let me get a video up here of what they do. I have one that I took myself, pointed at the North Star. You guys have all seen this Star Trails, I'm sure. Let me just play this really quick. I might leave this up for a second in the background. Okay, this is out my back door, and that is, see that center one? Awesome, the blood saves. John C. Oddity says, I swear. That's okay. It's not like swearing's super bad or something. What if there's younger people, like what if there's a 15-year-old watching this and watching the chat? Just think about it that way, John. Okay? Or a 12-year-old, or a 10-year-old, or a 7-year-old. Okay? If we're all 45 and 50 and 35, I don't think swearing's probably a really big deal. But when there's maybe younger people listening, let's set an example. That's all I'm saying. There's an order for every star, which you can clearly see on the screen. They all do a circle around one star. Joey Rocha, Chihu. So, let's see here. Let me, like, I just want to read this. It's chapter 19 of the book of Enoch. Right after, well, he's still there, but right after he saw that dark, or that deep abyss, or he said, beyond that abyss, there's a waste and horrible place. And there was no water and no birds, and it was Yeah, a waste and horrible place. And there was no firmament of heaven above it, and there was no firmly founded earth beneath it. So just think about where he was. Okay, he saw 7 stars there. Remember, God placed the sun, moon, and stars in the firmament of the heaven. So he's clearly in the firmament of the heaven. That's where Enoch is in chapter 18. Now let's listen to chapter 19. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women. Think Genesis 6, guys. And their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind. Hold on a minute. I'm going to do something fun. Let me see if I can defile, or let me show you an image of this, what this defiling mankind looks like. I'm going to try to do it quickly, but it might take me a moment to get it in place. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to read it over again. And Uriel said to me, here shall stand the angels who have connected themselves with women, and their spirits, assuming many different forms, are defiling mankind and shall lead them astray into sacrificing to demons as gods. See that? I made that. Enoch called them mountains, guys. He said, I saw 7 stars like great burning mountains. These stars do not do what all the other stars do. These stars do their own thing. They don't circle this star in the middle. And we can also learn about that from Enoch. Enoch went up there to that middle star. It's called Polaris. Enoch went there. And I think that's in... Whoa. I think it's in... Sorry, guys. My mouse is acting up. I want to say Enoch 71. I can't even spell Enoch. Because Enoch went up there. Yes, it is. Awesome. Let me find the wiki. I like to read the book of Enoch on Wikisource. It's just really easy when I'm doing it online. Let me just read a little bit of this. And it came to pass after this that my spirit was translated, and it ascended into the heavens, and I saw the holy sons of God. They were stepping on flames of fire. Their garments were white, and their raiment and their faces shone like snow. And I saw 2 streams of fire, and the light of that fire shone like hyacinth. And I fell on my face before the Lord of spirits. And the angel Michael, one of the archangels, seized me by my right hand, and lifted me up, and led me forth into all the secrets. And he showed me all the secrets of righteousness. And he showed me the secrets of the ends of the heaven, and all the chambers of the stars, and all the luminaries, whence they proceed before the face of the holy ones. Okay, here, guys, listen to this. If you want a description of what's happening on your screen right now, here it is. And he translated my spirit into the heaven of heavens. And I saw there, as it were, a structure built of crystals, and beyond those crystals tongues of living fire. And my spirit saw the girdle which girt that house of fire, and on its 4 sides were streams full of living fire, and they girt that house. And round about were seraphim, cherubim, and Ophanim. And these are they who sleep not, and guard the throne of his glory. And I saw angels who could not be counted, 1,000 thousands and 10,000 times 10,000, encircling that house. And Michael and Raphael and Gabriel and Phanuel and the holy angels who are above the heavens go in and out of that house. And they came forth from that house, and Michael and Gabriel and Raphael and Phanuel, and many holy angels without number. And with them the head of days, his head white and pure as wool, and his raiment indescribable. Okay, I'm going to stop there. But, okay, so I just want to point out that this is real. This world we live in is real. It's not fake, okay? That we may have a lot of people on the right track And then they might be saying space is fake. Well, I would say space is fake. It's not a space. It's not space at all. And space doesn't even make any sense. How do you measure 10 feet if there's nothing to measure? How do you measure 93 million miles if there's nothing to measure? That's impossible. You can't. Just the idea of a vacuum is it goes against human nature and understanding. There's no such thing as a vacuum. We can take a glass jar and we can take a pump and we can pump tons of stuff out of that glass jar, like air and whatever. And that's what they want to call a vacuum. But it's, I would say more accurately, and anybody that's honest would say it's a near vacuum, right? Near vacuum. So if it's a near vacuum, it's not a vacuum. Because a vacuum is against nature. It isn't part of nature. There's no place where there's nothing, because it wouldn't be a place then, right? So I'm not trying to get like all weird. I'm just saying that space is fake, yes, but heaven is real and darkness is real. And the stars that are in the sky are real, and they're not gas balls and what all this other stuff. They're angels that encircle the throne of God. And there's only 7 that don't. 7 in the sky. In the real sky. The real sky. Because I took this footage right here. Let me get a different excuse me, let me get a different video going of something that I've filmed in the sky. What have I filmed in the sky? I gotta go to a different folder here and see what we can. Here's something I've filmed in the sky. You guys will like this. Whoa! I filmed this in the sky, and it was real. Very real. And it's not in space, it's in the firmament of heaven. And it has laws that it follows throughout the month and throughout the year. So when this son of perdition is going to think to change times and laws, what did God create the sun, moon, and stars for again? It says in Genesis. Let me find it here. Whoops. Let me grab another video, because there was one in this menu that I liked. You guys might like this one. I don't know. You guys will like this. I'm gonna look something up while I play this video. We're gonna listen to something really quick. Okay. This is the star we were just reading about, guys. And I filmed this.
And behold, a door was opened in heaven. And the first voice which I heard was, as it were, of a trumpet talking with me, which said,
Come up hither, and I will show thee things which must be hereafter.
And immediately I was in the Spirit, and behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was, to look upon, like a jasper, and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald, like a jasper, and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald, like a jasper, and a sardine stone. And there was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald.
found what I wanted to read. Thank you, Mr. Mister. You said exactly what I was kind of alluding to. God created the sun, moon, and stars for signs and seasons and days and years. That's times, guys. Times and laws. The blood saves. No, it was, let me think. No, it's through my scope. It's a Sony Handycam. I think it's a FDR AX33. If that means anything to you. John C. Oddity. The more you spam the chat with that kind of stuff, the less I want to unblock you. I'll unblock you, okay? But I'm not going to do it while I'm in the stream, okay? I'll do it later. Oddity lives matter. Okay, now you're for sure unblocked. I'll unblock you for sure. That was good. I like that. Oddity lives matter. Everyone's lives matter. Davey313, he's talking about his first account. He has number 2 account going there. That was hilarious. So in Genesis, God tells us all these things, you guys. Jesus declared it right there from the beginning in 6 days. And then men for 6,000 years have misunderstood it. Misunderstood it. Okay, there was darkness upon the face of the deep. Oh, and guess what about darkness? Let me tell you guys something about darkness that maybe you didn't understand this way yet. Oops, I gotta get open. Ephesians is another warning from Paul that nobody pays any attention to. Ephesians 6 verse 12. Okay, this is about putting on the full armor of God. And let me find the KJV. Here we go. Okay, now we're talking about darkness. Literal darkness is up in the sky. I think it's dark by now. So if you go outside, if you're anywhere in central U.S. or depending on where you are, Davey313, it's probably not going to be this way for you. But for anyone where it's nighttime, where is darkness? This is simple. There is not a tough answer here. There's darkness above the earth. Okay? And I can prove that to you. You can prove it to yourself by going outside and looking up. And you'll see darkness. And you'll also see stars and the moon. And then you'll see 7 planets. Do you guys know that the word planet comes from the word planeo, which means to cause to wander, or to wander, or to cause to go off course, to lead astray. And we were just reading where Enoch said that they will take oddity. you got me laughing, and it's funny, but too funny. Unmask me, hashtag. Oh boy. I bet you got a good sense of humor, John C. Oddity, I can tell. But Davey313 said, John, be patient, please. But John's getting some airtime, right? I'm just teasing. So, he says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Some versions have it wrong, or I don't know if it's the version or if it's just the people putting it down their own way. I'm not sure. But I've heard a lot of people say, this dark world. That's not what this says. This says against the rulers of the darkness of this world. Where is the darkness of this world, guys? Remember, don't forget Genesis 1. It's the second verse of your Bible that tells us where darkness is, okay? It says, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And that word deep is abyss. There was darkness upon the face of the abyss, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Up above, Lady K's got it right on. Up. Bate Morgan says it. It's up. It's above the earth. Darkness. So, who's the rulers of that darkness, guys? It actually says it in Ephesians 6:12. It says, against spiritual wickedness in high places. And in the Greek, that says against cosmic powers of evil in the heavenly realm. So when we're talking about when Enoch went to this place in chapter 18, where he sat, where it was a waste and horrible place, he's up in space, guys. And there's another prophet that went there, a very important apostle that went there, named John. John, that wrote the book of Revelation. And I've gathered this together by the power of the Holy Spirit. It's not from me, but if you listen to what these two prophets say in chapter 18 of the first book of Enoch, where Enoch went and he said he saw 7 stars like great burning mountains. Okay. And John also went to it was a wilderness, is what John called it. But the angel took him away in the spirit to this wilderness. I'm going to go Revelation 17 so I can read it here a little bit. In Revelation 17 verse 3, it says, so he carried me... actually, I'll just start in 17 verse 1 so that you guys can understand what's happening, or what John's saying. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore, that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication. Now don't be fooled here, guys. The kings of the earth, in this context, are not men. They're horns. This is what John and Daniel both said that. The kings are horns, or they're horns. And there's a certain type of vehicle that is shaped like a horn, and that's me giving you my information there. But that's something that I've gathered that this is. But with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, and that's Mystery Babylon, and I'm going to skip a little bit. Look what it says. Well, here it is right here. That backs up what I was saying. The kings aren't men, okay? Verse 12, and the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. Okay, but that was not the verse I was looking for. Okay, verse 9 says, and here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains, on which the woman sitteth. Enoch 18, verse... Sorry, I gotta find it. Oh, I clicked all of them before I get to that one. Oh, I closed it. Wow, sorry guys, I'm not doing this right. Enoch. I gotta learn how to spell. Or how to type, actually. Enoch 18 and Enoch 21, both places in the book of Enoch where Enoch calls stars mountains. So I'll just read that again, the verse. I'll read the Enoch verse 18 verse 13 says, I saw there 7 stars like great burning mountains. And then the angel said, this place is the end of heaven and earth. This has become a prison for the stars and the host of heaven. And I was just reading Revelation 17. It said, and here's the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And actually another interesting note is in Revelation 8 verse 8. John says the exact same phrase that Enoch said. I'll read it. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. So that in Enoch chapter 21, which I'm going to go to right now. We read 20. So those angels that in Genesis 6 came down, and they took wives, and they created giant offspring, and it was not a good thing. They're up there, bound in it. They were buried in the earth for 70 generations. And then when that judgment was over, they were led off to the abyss of fire. And that's where Enoch just was. But chapter 21, Enoch also says, where is it? Verse 3, and there I saw 7 stars of the heaven bound together in it, like great mountains burning with fire. Let me read this verse in Revelation 8, verse 8. That was Enoch, and this is John. These are 2 different people at 2 different times. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea. So one of those stars is going to be cast into the sea, guys. Mountains burning with fire. So 7 mountains. A lot of people like to talk about the 7 hills in Rome or something, and I like to talk about the 7 hills in my backyard too, or your backyard. Everyone's got hills in their backyard probably. Well, not everyone, but Jack Dalton, thank you. But let's see here. Good to have you, by the way, and same with Mr. So what I'm saying is, there is a man changing times and laws. Oh, I just got, what do I have? I got to open my program again. Sorry, that's so boring. It just says this is the North Star, or this is Polaris, the North Star. Let me show you guys something. Have you guys looked up the night sky in the past year? Because if you looked at it 2 years ago, the thing that I'm going to point out and show you was not there, okay? So 2 years ago, it wasn't there. May of 2019, it started to be there. Okay, if that makes any sense. I have to find the video, though. And we got like 15 or 10 minutes, because I don't want anybody to miss Now You See TV, because the title of their show is called Babylon. Now, I got to tell you, I think that they're going to be not talking about these things, but it's still, like, I still love what those guys say. Even if I think they're wrong, or if I disagree entirely with certain, like, these kinds of things, like, I know a lot of people think about, like, what we're doing in the world and might not think about what we're doing up in the sky. And I'm thinking about what we do up in the sky, so whatever they say, I might disagree with parts of it, but I love that. But I know that those guys are speaking truth. So their show's about Babylon, and I can't remember what it was titled, but it was, the title of it really got me interested. Mr. I'm talking about Now You See TV Midnight Ride, David Carrico and John Pounders. And then again, if someone would care to put a link to that in the chat, that would be a good idea. Let me go find this video though. I'm gonna play one video, and then we'll probably wrap it up, and so we can go over there. But I'm gonna find it if I have it here. I might have to play it on my. I might have to play it on my computer and switch screens and whatever. I just can't remember where it is. If I can even find it. You know what? I'm going to do this. I'm just going to play this video that I named The Apostle John, because I think it's important. And then I'll come back on and say what's up to everybody, and then, because this video is, let's see, how long is it? It's not that long. I think it's less than 10 minutes, but I'll come back, and then I'll make, while I'm gone, or while we're watching the video, I'll grab a link to the channel that I think you should go to, and it says Now You See TV, and we'll watch Midnight Ride with them dudes.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb.
Liftoff of the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, launching Dragon to the International Space Station.
And he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
And Stage 1 entry burn is underway. It's a burn of about 10 seconds.
Stage 1 entry burn shut down.
So that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men.
Falcon 9 first stage headed back toward Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, where it launched 6 minutes, 37 seconds ago.
Stage 2 performance nominal.
And he doeth great wonders, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And the Lord God of the holy prophets sent his angel to show unto his servants the things which must shortly be done.
Those precious young people.
Back at Landing Zone 1 at Cape Canaveral Air Force Station.
LZ-1, the F-9 has landed. Landing operators proceed.
For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. And after these things, I saw 4 angels standing on the 4 corners of the earth, holding the 4 winds of the earth, that the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on any tree. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. And he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Hell from beneath is moved for thee, to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. It hath raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I had heard and seen, I fell down to worship before the feet of the angel which showed me these things. Then saith he unto me, See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. And when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, 2 men stood by them in white apparel, which also said, Ye men of Galilee, why stand ye gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus which is taken up from you into heaven shall so come in like manner as ye have seen him go into heaven.
Okay, I'm a flat earther.
Okay, I got one more video that as we were watching this, you know how they were pointing up to the sky, and how I kind of played it along with the verses of the guys in Acts, or I think that was Acts chapter 1. I think that's what that was. When they were gazing up into heaven, and he said, this same Jesus that you see go up to heaven will come back in the like manner. Okay, I want to play you something that's a little scary, and we do have time because there's 10 minutes and 33 seconds till Midnight Ride starts, and this video that I'm going to play you is only like 5. So I just got to play this. Thank you guys for all your comments for sure. Let's check this one out. This is a company that Elon Musk
returns your eyesight, even if you've like lost your optic nerve type of thing. Will fix almost anything that is wrong with the brain, and it could restore limb functionality. So that restores somebody who's a quadriplegic to full functionality.
Okay, I'm stopping it there, guys. We got 5 minutes till Midnight Ride starts, and I just wanted to say, do you notice that Elon Musk is trying to be Jesus? He's trying to heal your infirmities. He's also preparing a place for us on Mars. Don't fall for it, people. Don't fall for the idea that Elon Musk's just a puppet, just a front man. Don't fall for the idea that landing rockets is fake. It's fake, all right, but it's really happening. That's the scary part. It's in the Bible, too. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth those who dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles that he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Davey313, I gotta ask you, who else is making fire come down from heaven? There's only one man doing it. One man in 2020 that's doing it. And then I was going to end this by answering a question that I liked that I saw Lady K asked, and it was, I'm finding it here. It was, why is it so hard for people to accept the mortality of the body? It is because they don't acknowledge the Lord of Spirits. Because if they did, they would know that he prepared a place for them and will come again and receive them on the last day. So be prepared for it, guys. All right, go over to Midnight Ride. I'm out of here. Thank you, everyone. And I had a good, fun time on this stream, even though at the beginning I was bummed out because all my stuff went in the garbage before I started. So anyway, God bless you all, and I love you guys, and have a good night. And enjoy Midnight Ride because it's the bomb. Those guys are awesome over there.